I have imagined 1,000 times how my life will be if I have siblings. If I can make a wish that will come true, this will be the one. One of the feasible ways is to let my family find a surrogate mother, since my mother is not in the perfect age to give childbirth anymore. But surrogacy is not legal in China. Should it be legal then? Surrogacy has been a controversial topic in China. Our culture increases the risk of legalizing surrogacy, especially leading the objectification of women. At the same time, it's hard to protect the legitimate rights and interests for the surrogate mother. It's not that we don't want, but we can't. Surrogacy should not be legalized in China. Now let's move on to the uniqueness of Chinese culture. Every country has their own culture and their own history. Surrogacy has been a hot topic in China recently, since it may be legalized in Taiwan. One of the worries is that involuntary of surrogate mothers. China will still have some areas that are not fully developed, and for the women who born and live in those areas, they are more likely to be surrogate mothers with a big chance of involuntary. These things are happening even if surrogacy is not legalized. There is no way to imagine how they will live if surrogacy becomes legalized, commercialized. That is, the objectification of women will become more serious in small towns. There are people who believe that by enacting relevant laws, the risks posed by underground surrogacy can be avoided. Against surrogacy is against women's rights. In the article Surrogacy as Feminism, Contract Pregnancy, author Sophie Lewis said at the beginning like this: surrogate pregnancy is much better work than a labor, a construction worker, or a maid. At the same time, one of the news in Taiwan caught my attention to surrogacy, which is the Department of Health in Taiwan is considering a surrogacy bill that would allow surrogacy if certain conditions are met. Some of the people believe in such ways will reduce the risks brought by surrogacy. As a place that is only one step away from China and has similar cultures, does the laws apply to China? Unfortunately, I don't think so. In article Surrogacy in Greater China, the legal framework in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China, author Rapso Vela has mentioned that, indeed, the legitimacy of surrogacy is highly contested, with many arguing that surrogacy undermines human dignity, that it continues to sell the selling of a child, that is a kind of hidden prostitution, and it violates the prohibition or on using the human, which has stated some of the hidden risks of the surrogacy. At the same time, in article Surrogacy Donor Conception Regulation in Japan, the author has stated that if an indeed couple and a surrogate make an agreement among themselves, and then a problem occurs, they could not ask for support from professionals. And those are the cases found in Korea and Japan, which means the injured party might be forced into the role of helpless victim in such a case. As a result, the children born in such complete case, they will shoulder a heavy load, both socially and psychologically. The additional risk of surrogacy due to Chinese culture made it not a good choice to legalize. The rights of surrogate mother is hard to protect. I do not against surrogacy, but I do oppose the legalization of surrogacy in China. While accepting the commission, the surrogate mother also accepted the risks transferred from the client. In the process of surrogacy, the client should bear some or all of the responsibility for the surrogate mother's daily life on the ethic level, but in law, there are the responsibilities that the surrogate mother should take by herself. How to guarantee the physical and mental health of surrogate mother, and how to guarantee the personal freedom under the offer of client. We still need answers for those questions before the surrogacy became legalized. The legitimate rights and interests of the surrogate mother are vulnerable. Applying this situation to the developing areas in China, the surrogate mother's legitimate rights are vulnerable. Surrogacy may be one of the visible ways to maintain family and marital stability for families who believe adoption is no substitution for childbirth, which in our situation in China, these families are the majority side. According to article The Effect of Having Children on Women's Marital Status, evidence from Vietnam, the author stated that having a child, the parents will share common financial, emotional, and other investment, and as the investment brings the parents more together. Legalization of surrogacy means will bring the kids and the parents together. You can't imagine how frustrated I am about things I'm going to share now. Let's start with article No Girls Please. In part of Asia, sexism is ingrained, gender selection as a murder. Prefer boys to girls, sound preference. If the surrogacy is legal and involves selecting the sex of the fetus, which is normal in the places that the surrogacy is legalized, the number of the female fetus will decline significantly in the future given China's culture. In article Sex, Birth Order, and Creativity in the Context of China's One-Child Policy, sociologist Jia Junguo wrote, furthermore, many Chinese families with daughters as firstborn opted to have a second child because traditional Confucian values promote that only men are able to carry forward family and made contributions to families. In simply words, if surrogacy became legalized in China now, the family can't have a child we choose to have son by surrogacy. The family with one daughter will choose to have a son by surrogacy. If you want to ask about what will happen to the daughters, I don't know. I don't even know what will happen to me as the only female in my child in my family. I understand that I just talked about something pretty heavy, but now let's wrap it up. As one of the most controversial things in China recently, the legalization of surrogacy is definitely not the best choice. Even with laws, it's still hard to prevent the more serious condition of objectification of women. At the same time, how to protect the rights of surrogate mothers, how to prevent the son preference, all are the things that we need to consider about. Surrogacy should not be legalized in China. A culture is made or destroyed by its articulate voices. My wish is to have a sister, if possible. Thank you.